Good. We're good and good. Live here on Rumble and on YouTube. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Relief Valve podcast. I said in my last show that I wasn't really going to do anything until the 5th when we were all voting. I'm going to do a live election show starting at 6 p.m. I'm going to take from multiple sources and give you the best coverage and updates on voting throughout the country to the best of my ability, and I'll stay with you guys late. I plan on getting on there at 6 p.m., and I'll go for as long as I can stay as awake and alive human being. Please like, share, and support this show. Subscribe as well, please. That's a big thing. That helps me get the support and all that. And here's my page on X as well to follow me, Relief Valve Podcast on X. And join the following here. I had to do a whole new page after the leftist purge, and I'm rebuilding all the followers that I have. So, all right. So I wanted to do. Biden had some new comments that, as I put in the kind of teaser here, that I just couldn't ignore, and I wanted to go over some of the voting and numbers and different stuff that are coming out here. So. First with Poly Market, for anyone that's really been following the Poly Market, and this is the betting in Vegas, right? This is an online betting, essentially. People are putting down real money based on where where they feel everything's going. And I'm sure I'm not currently host backed by them. They're not supporting me at this time, but I've been using it as an interesting indicator because there's been a big jump, if you see here, where this is people's personal feelings, what they're hearing from others, how they personally see it going, and in some cases I find this a little more accurate because it's the people reaching out and making these decisions that I find it more accurate than some of the electoral maps you might get from a CNN or MSNBC. But Kamala has recently had a big jump. And some other people brought this up, and my thought process was the same, is that I believe some whales, which when you're in stocks and you're building a portfolio like that, a whale is somebody who will come in. It's a big spender, and they'll come in and they will buy a ridiculous amount of stock and just change the whole landscape. Try and fix that. Hold on a second here. There it is. There I am. I'd forgotten I had it off before from a previous thing I was doing. So when you have a whale come in, they buy a whole bunch of stock. They artificially inflate the stock that you're in and that you're looking at. And then when they hit a certain number that they like, they go ahead and sell everything they've got in it, and then it becomes a huge drop. So in this particular case, it looks like that a whale or a couple of whales have come in and bought a big amount in Kamala stock to make it seem artificially jump it up and make it seem like she's got a big jump and her chances have really increased. Trump is still up overall, 54.5% in Poly Market to her 45.7%. But I believe some whales have come in and done some big spending here to show you that. So you've got, in some of the people's feelings here, you've got her taking Minnesota, light blue very close in Wisconsin. So we're seeing how that plays out. Very close in Michigan as well. Different people are feeling, one way or the other. Pennsylvania is still a toss-up state. They're still so close that it's extremely difficult to figure out what it's going to be. North Carolina looks like it's tipping for Trump as well. Georgia also, and there's also based on early voting. Republicans did very well this election cycle in putting in early balloting and learning from the cheating that the Democrats did in the 2020 election. And those extra votes that they were throwing in there when they were running, so on the Democrat side. So they've tried to get in there with that early voting, and then you have the rest of us are going to be doing day of voting. I always do day in voting. I feel like that's important to do. Not to shit on anybody that is doing early voting. I'm most comfortable with going in. Like, I don't trust the mail either. So I feel most comfortable about going in there day of, filling everything out, and then personally putting that in the machine myself. And no one else is handling it, and I know it got taken care of properly. Now, I'm in a stupid blue state, so unfortunately, I'm going to get outvoted by all the dummies who think that Democrats are doing a good job, which is absolutely amazing to me. But I still feel it's very important to do your civic duty and vote. And also, it can help towards Trump potentially hitting the popular vote with the total number of votes. This is a big thing to hit, too. If he could not only win the electoral college, but also win the popular vote, it would be a huge kick in the ass to the Democrats to see that there was no wiggle room there at all, that collectively the entire country hates Kamala Harris and hates the Democrats by winning both. So anyone that's on the fence, or you're going, I don't want to vote, it's not going to matter where I am, where I'm voting, please don't think that way. Please get out there and vote. If you've missed the opportunity to do the early voting, then consider getting out there, showing up in person, and putting your vote in. It matters. And vote red across the board to save America, and vote blue if you want to finish us off. So 270 is showing you the electoral points that come from each of these states. You can see a fair amount of the map is red. New Mexico is slated to go to Kamala. Colorado is slated to go to Kamala. That's not really a shock there. Utah's is mostly always red. Arizona, Nevada are still toss-ups, but they're saying that they're leaning red at this point. Pennsylvania looking like it's leaning red. Ohio leaning red as well. North Carolina, kind of a fight going back and forth there. He had a bad candidate that was running kind of as a Trump candidate, I believe, in Virginia, or was it North Carolina, and that went sideways, so it got in the way. Virginia, it looks like very, very slim margin. Comrade Kamala is going to take that. But it looks like he can take Ohio, Pennsylvania, which will be a huge deal because that's a swing state, and a battleground state really as well. In Iowa, obviously, as is normally always red. They're showing that Minnesota going to her, and Michigan and Wisconsin still toss-ups. Whereas Polymarket is telling you they believe those are going blue. There's still a fight happening in Wisconsin and Michigan. And it's going to come down to the day to really find out how that's going to go. It looks like Georgia's leaning red as well. Biden took it last time from the cheating or whatever they were doing in Georgia. Also, Trump coming out and saying, don't bother voting because they're cheating, didn't help how things were going in Georgia either. So it looks like it's going to go red this time. Taking Pennsylvania, taking Arizona, taking Nevada, along with all of the other states he normally takes, gets him over the 275, and he takes the election. So that's a big deal, and I'm going to be covering that on the day on the 5th to get breakdowns of what's actually going on and how the voting is coming in. They have different voting times, so they're going to be late. Nevada, Arizona are going to be closing at like 8, 9 o'clock. So we'll be following that throughout the evening. We had a voter registration probes launched in crucial Keystone State as counties amid claims of potential fraud. So I talked to you in my previous show about a guy with Rhode Island plates. Okay, this was all over X, and I don't believe I reposted it, but I did comment on it from some of the other people that were on there. I should have reposted it. And so the guy drove with Rhode Island plates. He wore a jacket as if he was a post office personnel. And when he was confronted in Pennsylvania, so he drove these allegedly from Rhode Island to Pennsylvania ballots. There's no reason for you to do that in any normal circumstance, unless you're trying to take blue votes in Rhode Island and bring them over to Pennsylvania in order to push up the voting that's already happening in favor of Democrats. He was caught on video. He was confronted. He claimed he worked for the post office. He had a jacket like he was a postal worker, but no name tag and no other additional kind of designs or insignia that would normally be an indicator on their clothing that they work for the Postal Service if they had the jacket on. He had the shirt will say U.S. Postal Service, and the jackets will have a little something on there too. His was almost identical to a postal jacket, but didn't have the normal stuff on it. But he claimed he was a postal worker, and he was dropping a whole tote of ballots off with Rhode Island plates in Pennsylvania. So the persistence is in Pennsylvania, and he's doing a great job helping to not only register voters. Here he is, right here. Not only to help register voters in Pennsylvania and make his voice heard and get more Republicans in there, but he is looking into things like this, or has people sending him information, and he's looking into things like this. So I'm really glad that there's boots on the ground. There's a lot of much bigger streams than myself that have got boots on the ground for people, and they're watching these polling stations, and they're watching this Democrat cheating in real time. And this is why I said one of the reasons it's so important. It has to be caught before the election is certified. Once the election's certified, everyone, even though you bring proof that there's cheating, they all throw up their hands and go, well, once it's certified, it is what it is, and you have your winner. That we can't go, even though there's nothing that says you can't go back and look into it further, they say, well, that's it. Certified is certified, end of story. So the cheating has to be caught now. The challenges in court and the actions that need to be taken have to be taken now as the voting happens, and as you find these Democrats cheating. This is the action that needs to be taken. So before we're calling a winner and we're making it official for that winner, we are legally fighting back against what we found in multiple states, and we're showing proof to back it up. So potential fraudulent election materials are being probed by top law enforcement election officials in the battleground state of Pennsylvania as the 2024 contest enters its final days. District attorneys and election officials in both Lancaster County and York County are looking into potential election-related fraud after authorities received the large batches of voter registration materials from a third-party organization. Both York and Lancaster counties have more registered Republican voters than Democrats, according to state data, with York Republicans holding a 63% majority in the area and Lancaster Republicans at a 61%. The importance of the issues cropping up in Pennsylvania, which is widely viewed as one of the key battleground states that could determine a winner in the presidential race, were underscored on Tuesday when 2024 GOP nominee and former President Trump highlighted the allegations of potential fraud in a Truth Social post. Wow. York County, Pennsylvania received thousands of potentially fraudulent voter registration forms and mail-in ballot applications from a third-party group. This is on top of Lancaster County being caught with 2,600 fake ballots and forms, all written by the same person. Really bad stuff. What is going on in Pennsylvania? Law enforcement must do their job immediately. Wow, he posted. In Lancaster County, home to Pennsylvania's Amish community, the district attorney and the Lancaster County Board of Elections held a press conference last week announcing the investigation of potential fraudulent voter registration forms, not ballots, as Trump had alleged. After receiving roughly 2,500 voter registration applications in two separate batches last week, the batches of registration applications were dropped off ahead of Pennsylvania's registration deadline on October 21st. Staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting and were filled out on the same day, District Attorney Heather Adams said during a press conference. The confirmed indicators of fraud that detectives came across were inaccuracies with addresses listed on the applications, fake and false personal identification information, as well as false names. Also, applications that had names that did not match the provided Social Security information. Adams said the materials sometimes included correct personal information, but when the individuals were contacted by investigators, they reported they did not request the application forms, and she estimated this week about 60% of the applications were fraudulent. So think about that for a minute. The amount of cheating coming from the Democrats. 60% of applications were fraudulent. They used somebody and faked their identity, and they didn't even ask for anything like that, and they're voting on their behalf, and they're voting Democrat, of course. And just like you said, people that are dead and still on the voter rolls, all the dead vote Democrat. So I'm glad to see that there's boots on the ground, there's people watching this, and in real time, they are getting investigations going and catching the Democrats cheating. This all needs to be caught in real time. So to get to the other points I was making here, first we had Biden calling us garbage, and Trump did a really amazing thing where he drove around a garbage truck to make fun of the gaffe Biden did. But here's here is Biden initially calling us garbage, and then I'll get to the other one where he's talking about smacking our asses. Here's the first one.
The other day, a speaker at his rally called Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. You know, he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break.
Yes, they are.
He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of
he was about to say the Puerto Rico I'm from, and then the Puerto Rico that's in Delaware. A fucking idiot.
Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
His supporters, right there. Now, the reason that that's important is the White House attempted to backtrack all of this and say, well, there was a parenthesis right there, and he was talking about supporter, like the comedian that said that, or the people that think that, not all of his supporters. And this, they tried to walk the whole thing back. They actually changed when they have the stenographer at the White House who types out everything that he's saying, or phone conversations or anything else. They make records of all of this. The corrupt Biden regime attempted to illegally alter the stenographer's account of this, where Biden says his supporters are garbage, meaning all of us that support Donald Trump. We're all garbage. That's exactly what he was saying in this statement. And they tried to walk this back and change the official record so that it looked differently in the White House records for this. So another illegal, disgusting act from the corrupt Biden regime. But then he wasn't quite done with that, and I'll give you the follow up to this so you can see what Trump did, because he went to a rally in the yellow vest, and driving the garbage truck. Here's some of that.
Where does a guy get a right to say what a woman?
All right, here's this disgusting dyke bitch talking about something. All right, here we go. God damn it. No, go back.
Here, we want to take you to North Carolina, where you can clearly see there Donald Trump is taking questions from reporters inside a truck. Let's go ahead and listen in.
I don't think they'll have to be used. I think we're going to have a big victory. And I think 250 million people in this country are going to be very happy because we're going to bring the country back. We're a nation in decline, very, very serious decline. And we're going to bring our country back.
Did you know that Elon Musk was in close contact with President Bush? Did you know about this? Did you know about Elon Musk calls and close communication?
No, I don't know. Elon is a great guy. He's one of our geniuses, and we have to protect our geniuses. We have to take care of our geniuses. There aren't too many of them. Yes, please. No, I love Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I took care of them when they had the big hurricanes, and nobody gets along better with Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican people than me. They love me and I love them. Go
ahead. Questions. So he's in the truck.
He's a terrific guy. I think he was treated very unfair.
Again, I want to see if they, instead of their stupid questions, I want to get to showing off more of the truck. No, they didn't want to show it because, of course, it's shit ABC News.
Joe Biden shocked the world and possibly cost Kamala Harris the presidency with a brash comment labeling Trump supporters garbage during a CNN interview.
The Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
But Donald Trump wasn't going to let the scandal go to waste. The presidential hopeful seized on the opportunity to highlight just how much of a misstep Biden's comment was by drawing more attention to the gaffe. a garbage truck with Trump signage and American flags all over it pulled up to meet Donald Trump on the tarmac in Wisconsin.
Hello, everybody. This is Donald Trump, and 250 million people are not garbage.
Trump then donned high-vis and got in the truck, conducting a press conference from inside whilst being driven around.
Is answering some questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
It was a genius PR move and the perfect antidote to the inconsiderate comment by Joe Biden. And it seems the garbage theme has taken over the whole of the Republican Party, with Vivek Ramaswamy hopping on the bandwagon and also trying his hand at sanitation work.
All right. Let's do it, man. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Tell me, what are we doing here?
Right up to the lift.
Okay. Right up to here.
Come up. Turn around. Pretty much right there. Always lift the lid open.
Wait, is it on?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Lift open, and then what are we doing?
Pull them both out.
Pull them both out. You doing it right? Pull this one back too, or you good?
Yeah, you're good right now.
Sweet.
Wait for it to go all the way up.
Pretty good machinery, actually. It kind of works. Should I pull it back again?
Now just pull. This goes up.
Should I pull it?
Yeah, pull it out.
Pull it out?
Once it is, it'll come back down.
All right, man. Let's do it. Thank you. Looks pretty good. Yeah, see? The machinery's good. It's good machinery. I mean, it's like...
You didn't even have to use the bat once.
No, I know, exactly. Well, sometimes you might need to, actually.
Just in case.
It's a...
All right, so let's go on to the most latest gaffe, where Biden has now said he's going to spank all of us. He's been out. The Comrade Kamala's campaign has not wanted him on the campaign trail. Biden's team has reached out to them and said Biden would like to go out and help you out on the campaign trail, and Kamala's team has been reported have said, yeah, we're gonna get back to you. Don't call us, we'll call you, and let us know. So apparently he just kind of went out and did this on his own, and now the newest thing is he wants to spank Republicans and spank us. Let's get into a little bit of that here.
If let's say Trump holds on to Arizona and Georgia and North Carolina, okay, he just needs one of the blue wall states. Just one, and Nevada.
He has a good shot in Nevada, too.
But they said they have not broken. The wall has not broken since '88.
Well, this is
so
what,
if you get one, you get them all. You get none, you get none.
This is what I talked to someone who's very involved in this yesterday, and they said the biggest problem for Kamala is she has a math problem. In all early voting, she is falling short. Trump has to win one, either Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan. Looks like he has North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and a good shot in Nevada. But that only gets him to 268. So that's why he has to win one of those three. He's up in all three in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, but it is extremely tight. That's why everyone needs to vote. And it looks like the only chance for Kamala, she has to sweep the blue wall. She has to sweep Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and would have to win all three.
She seems very concerned about it, too. And I just, Jackie's just done a report. She's going to do these two events today. She's doing one in Detroit, Michigan, at the headquarters of Kojic, essentially, Bishop Sheard. That is not a demographic that she should still be working for in the final days of the election. Right. And so I just find it, they are concerned about two things: either some black voters breaking for Trump in a way that could be 29 to 30% when it comes to black males, or people just staying at home. And that is problematic. If these voters stay at home or cast their vote in a small portion for Donald Trump, that's a ball game.
Yeah, right. It feels as though black males have stayed home in the early voting. That's where it stands. So far, the turnout for blacks in the early voting has not been strong.
No.
Isn't early voting turnout really low compared to the last election? Granted, last election we were in COVID, so a lot of people did early voting.
Well, and we've been breaking down the number of Republicans who have early voted and Democrats. What oftentimes is not mentioned are the independents. And in particular states like North Carolina, there are more independents or third party or unaffiliated people than there are Republicans or Democrats. And so they really hold the key. In the meantime, Jackie a moment ago said, Joe Biden was in Scranton, his hometown, and used some language that was not helpful to the Kamala Harris campaign. And you got to wonder, what is he doing when he says stuff like this?
There's one more thing Trump and his Republican friends want to do. They want another giant tax cut for the wealthy. Now, I know some of you guys are tempted to think it's macho guy. I'll tell you what, man. When I was in Scranton, we used to have a little trouble going down the plot once in a while. For Green Ridge. But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Fucking
retard.
I'd like to smack him in the ass. What the fuck? And I know he probably wanted to say kick their ass, and then he tried to modify it so it was smack their ass. First of all, and I'm getting a little tired of this wannabe tough guy talking about what he's going to do to everybody. It's really starting to get like grating and frustrating. He used to have that saying, oh, I want to take him behind the woodshed. Remember he used to say this about Trump. I want to take him behind the woodshed and I want to really show him. Do you think this fucking loser has had to fight a day in his life? The guy's been in Congress and been a senator since he was like 20. So he's always had Capitol Police. He's always had bodyguards. And then he's always had Secret Service. Do you think this scumbag has had to get into a real fight or get into a situation where he's had to really be a tough guy ever in his life? The one thing I've noticed is that all the fake tough guys, they always talk about everything that they're gonna go do to somebody else. I wish I could take that guy behind the woodshed. I wish I could smack those Republicans on the, I hate those guys, right on the ass. They're all the shit talkers that are full of nothing but shit. What I wish is, I wish one of his supporters or one of his staff would go nuts from their tranny medication or something and just beat the ever-loving shit out of him live on TV. That would just make my fucking day to see that. But this scumbag is constantly threatening people, making threats towards people, who he's going to attack, who he's going to fight. And this guy who can barely stand on his 2 feet currently, and in his previous life was nothing more than a womanizing scumbag coward, is going to fight people. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. And I'm sick of hearing this scumbag is going to fight, smack, or do anything. And what's really odd is now he wants to smack our asses. There was this, anyone that was on TikTok, I don't use it anymore. There was this girl on TikTok, and she was a topless maid. So she got paid to go to these guys' houses, clean the house topless, right? And then she would do her TikToks and she would talk about her experiences and everything that she did in her life, right? And then it started expanding, and it was like she'd go to some guy's house and they're like, "Oh, you want to mow my lawn topless? You want to power wash the house topless, right?" And then the point being that it ended up changing into these guys that wanted to be not shit on literally, but shit on, spoken down to, and degraded. And she ended up moving on to that, and then she was commenting about how the the guys that would hire her would bring her on their boat or their yacht or whatever, and they'd go out there and they just want her to call them pieces of shit, or they have little dicks, or they're losers or whatever, and she'd get paid this money. And then we're getting this from Joe Biden, and I'm like, we're getting shit on by Joe Biden for free. We didn't even have to pay anything to get this dominatrix style thing from, you're a piece of shit and I'm gonna smack your ass and all that. Oh yeah, tell me more, Joe. Fucking weirdo. And the craziest thing for me is that when we're having this discussion about the race, is how close a race it is, that we can't make definitive calls right now on how everything's going to go. That it could be a landslide, or he's just going to get over the 270 mark, right? Or you hear from other people saying, no, he's going to hit 300 and also get the popular vote. People are all over the place with their own personal polls about where that's going. The most concerning thing for me is the fact that this is even close. That's what really gets me. You have a guy in Joe Biden when he was running before who never should have had a chance to win in the beginning. Never, ever. I know they cheated. I know that the legacy media withheld information, but he never should have had a chance in hell. This was a guy who is, Joe Biden is a pedophile. He has showered with his young teenage daughter, Haley Biden, wrote about this in her diary. James O'Keefe got his hands on the diary because she left it at a place she used to live at, and then it got turned into a B&B or something, and the woman that was renting it found the diary and then sold it to James O'Keefe. And then they went through it and they found these excerpts. That's how we knew what he was doing. She wrote in her own diary about Joe getting into the shower with her between the ages of like 12 and 15. And then afterwards, when she found out about all of it, she ended up calling into James O'Keefe's media group and asking for her diary back, identifying herself by name, proving that she was who she said she was, and that she wanted the Secret Service to facilitate the return of the diary. And James O'Keefe put the phone call on video to show the proof that Haley called and had this conversation, identified herself, was willing to prove who she was so she could get her diary back. In that diary, she says that Joe Biden gets into the shower with her when she's a young teen. Then you hear everything else that Joe Biden talks about. The kids at the pool like to touch my legs. You see him massaging and kissing women's shoulders anytime he's at an event. Touching these children. He can't stop touching these children that parents bring up to him. The guy's a pedophile. He's a disgusting freak. And he got to become president. Not only a criminal and a scumbag that's been selling out the United States and lining his own pockets with money. The guy's a scumbag. And then you go to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a DEI hire. That's how she became vice president. Prior to that, she slept her way into political office. She had no knowledge and no skills to be able to do that whatsoever. Her husband, on the flip side of that, is a woman beater who you had a woman come out and say that they were in line years ago when they were dating. They were in the valet waiting to get their car. She was flirting with the valet in order to hope to get them to get their car quicker than the other people so they could get out of there. Doug was drunk. He got pissed off about it and smacked her in front of everyone. And then in addition to that, when he was married years later, he was sleeping with the young babysitter, cheating on his wife behind her back. These are the type of scumbags who are trying to tell all of us they're the right type of person and they're going to have good things happen for all of us and they care about all of you, the American people. And there are people out there that are eating this up. Hook, line, and sinker, they're taking it all. Because Orange Man bad. They've got Trump derangement system. The only reason I'm voting for Kamala is because I hate Trump. So you don't care about policy. You don't care whether they're going to help America or burn it to the ground. You'll just be happy if Trump doesn't get into office. Not only they're too stupid to realize they're screwing themselves, but then they're dragging the rest of us down with them, which is the worst out of the whole thing, because we know the best opportunity we're going to get is with Trump in office. The Democrats have already been just absolutely grinding this country into the ground for the past almost 4 years at this point. You put Kamala in, and we're going to be ground to dust after that. It's the worst case scenario for us. So it absolutely boggles my mind. My hope is they're going to catch the Democratic cheating, that enough people have woken up, and they're going to vote Trump. A lot of minorities are saying they're going to vote Trump. They don't believe Kamala. They don't believe she's a real black person. They believe that she's pretending to be changing her voice and doing this thing and doing that event and pretending to be somebody instead of actually saying, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. She's flip-flopped on everything that she said she's going to do. First, she's going to tax the shit out of everybody in servers and in restaurants and everything. And then she's stealing Trump's idea and she's no tax on tips. First, she says, who gives a fuck about the border? Anyone that wants to close it are bigots and racists against brown people who don't want to help them. And then she's saying, we need to hold these people accountable. We need to close the border. And we need to send illegals that come in back to their country. Like, the flip-flopping is ridiculous from her. And you're going, wait a minute, in order to try and gain some other people, you are flip-flopping on everything you claimed you believed in. So she puts her finger up and she tries to, in the wind, and she tries to grab whoever it is that she can grab while she's up there. That's all she is. There's no plan. There's no help for America. Trump has come out and said what he's going to do about Ukraine, what he's going to do about the border, what he's going to do about putting money back in Americans' pockets, what he's going to do about keeping America safe and keeping criminals off the street. He's been very clear about it, despite the leftists and the Democrats saying he doesn't have a plan. That's funny. For a guy that doesn't have a plan, he's laid out an entire plan. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So that's what I have for now. I'm going to be live streaming on November 5th, starting at 6 p.m., and we're going to cover and we're going to follow all of this. And hopefully we're having a winning night, and we're saying cheers as the victors in all of this. And here's hoping for that. So I will be on for November 5th for that. Please tune in. Please subscribe for the election live stream starting at 6 p.m. In the meantime, something I've been kind of hinting about doing, and I want to finally get into it. I want to break into the CIA files. I'm going to do that tonight. I have access to the CIA's now declassified database. And I had started originally about a year ago with one of their projects, Project Stargate. But I've decided to start with MK Ultra, so I think I'm going to do that tonight. And before you think we're just, this is some wacky information from my neighbor, or the crazy homeless guy under the bridge told me about it. This is directly from the CIA's website. This is FOIA requests and court cases they've lost and other things where they have been forced to provide this information. And I honestly thought that I wasn't going to find Project MK Ultra because it's a little more sensitive of a project. This was related to Charles Manson and the murders. I didn't think I was going to find it in the database, and they've got it in here. And this is going to be all the documentation, literal copied files of all of the back and forth and discussion of MK Ultra in the Bay of Pigs and just all of these clandestine projects that they've done. I'm going to do it, I think. I'm going to take a break from this one here, and I'm going to do it around like the 7:30 hour. So tune into that. I'll do a brief recap of Project Stargate, and then I'll jump into Project MK Ultra as well. So I'll see you guys around 7:30. All right. Thanks for everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, definitely subscribe, and that helps me grow the show. I really appreciate it, and I'll see everybody real soon.